Hi everyone, I'm Alex Rosenfeld, founder of Freshwater Investments, and this is Coffee with the T-Bird podcast. I sit down with fellow T-Birds who are making an impact in business, leadership, and entrepreneurship. Each episode features conversations that explore the pivotal moments, personal motivations, and lessons learned on their journeys. Whether you're a student, alum, or someone passionate about business and personal growth, you'll walk away with fresh ideas. This is a bit more than a podcast. It's a platform for connections, storytelling, and celebrating the global spirit of Thunderbird. This podcast is sponsored by Freshwater Investments. At Freshwater, we make it simple for you to invest in large apartment communities across the United States so you can earn passive income, grow your capital, and benefit from real estate tax breaks without owning or managing property yourself. Hello everyone, I'm Alex Rosenfeld, founder of Freshwater Investments, and my guest today is Bo Lee, an entrepreneur who has spent almost 2 decades riding the clean energy roller coaster. Bo started out on Wall Street trading currencies and interest rate swaps, then helped American Express expand internationally before doing something few executives dare to do. He bought a small food processing company in Colorado, scaled it dramatically, sold it, and used the proceeds to bet on renewables and energy storage. Today, he's a co-founder and CEO of Akku Energy Devices, a US-based LFP battery company working with German engineering partners to power logistics fleets and build safer, long-life storage systems for homes, businesses, and the grid. Bo, welcome to Coffee with the T-Bird.
Thank you, Alex. It's a pleasure to be here.
Of course. Where do I find you today?
Today, I am working out of my home office, and which is most of the case. My daily activity involves a lot of phone calls and video calls and emails and internet research. That's most of my days.
And where's your home today?
I live in Denver, Colorado.
In Denver, beautiful, beautiful city. I love Denver. Do they still remodel Denver Airport?
Well, that's an ongoing project. It's never stopped. It's always something new, something they want to change, and something that's outdated. I think they just finished the new security check-in, which supposedly should make things a lot easier. But it used to be 2 lines, and that lasts forever. It's winding around the whole airport, it feels like. It takes forever to get through the security check, but it's supposed to be a lot easier.
I really love those white caps on above the structure, the roof, and which I guess supposed to be the mountains. And it's a great airport, but that remodeling project has been going on for years now.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a very unique design, architecturally speaking.
Yeah,
very
beautiful.
Elegant and simple.
Beautiful. Anyway, let's talk about your beginnings. Can you tell me about your family? Where did you grow up? Your childhood?
Yeah, I grew up in China. I was born in a city which is the largest in China. It's right now about 25, 30 million people. It's a heavy industrial city, heavy commerce city, and transportation as well.
And what's the name of the city?
The name is called Chongqing, 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 actually, Qing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been grown tremendously for the past 30, 40 years. That's a reflection pretty much of the whole path of China's growth. But the city itself, it's a beautiful city. It's a hilly city. It sits on the 2 rivers, Yangtze River and the Jialing River. So it's very pretty. Architecturally speaking, it's very well laid out and designed, and very tough to get around because it's hilly. It's a lot steeper hills than San Francisco, where you've probably been there many times. But it bears a lot of this resemblance there. So that's the city I grew up. Yeah, my parents and I have my 2 sisters are still there in the city, and we talk often. And I go there visit every once in a while, every couple of years. About my mother's still around, so I spend most of the time in my childhood. I would say probably in the middle school and high school, at least, I was in a boarding school. At that time, it was very special and different because there aren't too many boarding schools in the country, and that was
Mm-hmm.
one of the few, and it did very, very successfully. The school has been, I think their college admission rate was like 95% or something, and at the time it was rare. Normally it was about 10-15%. Now it's probably a lot higher.
So how old how old you were when you left home?
It
11.
was, yeah. So my
So what was the reason, or so your parents decided to send you to boarding school because they knew it's a great pathway to get into good university, or
Yes, it was a very excellent school. Actually, they went around the city. They probably still do. I don't know what's the practice now, but they went around the city to each elementary school. You get one or two spots to send the kids there, and you have to go through a test. They have to test and an interview before they would admit you. So it's a very, very strict admission process you have to go through in order to get in.
and so take me inside the boarding school, the boarding high school, in China 40 years ago. What it was like?
It was not easy. It was not at that time. China was very poor, and the facility was there before the Chinese Cultural Revolution. It was a very successful school also, and then the Cultural Revolution just shut the school down. It was sitting there empty, and I think we were the first class after the Cultural Revolution. They revived the school, and since it had very good reputation, they had very good faculties and staff, so they could demand what kind of students they want to take into the school.
Mm-hmm.
But the living condition was horrible. I think the dorm we were living in, the first year we had probably 15 students in one room, and later on in high school we had about 8 students in one room, bunk beds. So, and we all ate in the cafeteria, and
Mm-hmm.
you have a group of students and have allotted portion of food, always the same. There's no choice whatsoever for every meal. Yeah, it was not easy. It was not easy. Now, actually, I went back there a few years ago. It was completely different. It's
Mm-hmm.
the living condition, the whole campus has been completely changed. And they have cafeterias, food of many choices. You just pick what you want to eat, not allotted portion and uh, and uh, and predetermined dishes you have to eat anymore.
Got it. So what was next after the boarding school?
Then I went to college. It was one of the top 10 universities in China called the Jilin University. And from there, after graduation, I think waiting a year, I came to the US. We have relatives there here in the US, and my
Mm-hmm.
intention was to study here and decide later on what to do. I was thinking to go back to China, but after I graduated from, I guess law school was Thunderbird, I wanted to, I was in finance. I wanted to try my luck. So I started on Wall Street. It's just
Mm-hmm.
one thing led to another, and I stayed instead of going back there. But
Got it.
I don't
But
know what my life
wait,
would be like if I had gone back. But
wait. How did you hear about Thunderbird, and why did you decide to go to Thunderbird?
I was going to University of Denver at the time,
Mm-hmm.
the graduate school of international studies, it was called at the time. And there were two persons I met. One was a PhD student who went to Thunderbird, but working on his PhD. I was in master's program at a University of Denver, and their master's program is excellent. It's one of the top three, I would say, in the nation. It's probably if not top three, it's top not top one. It has to be one of the top three every year. So that was one person. The other person was lieutenant governor. Was I think I don't quite remember. She was taking some course. Was teaching there, and she recommended me to go to Thunderbird. After my education at University of Denver. So I thought I liked business. I always liked business. I thought that would put me closer to what I want to pursue in terms instead of academics or diplomacy. So I made the choice to go to a business school in international.
Got it. How was your experience at Thunderbird in Phoenix? Do you have
One of
any
kind.
favorite?
One of kind. The best friends I've made in the United States, at least, probably throughout the world, is come from Thunderbird. And after I graduated, throughout my career, throughout where I live, where I worked, and always T-Birds are probably one of my closest friends are coming from T-Bird up to this day. I'm still very involved with T-Bird community here in Colorado, and I participate in a lot of events and sponsor some events as well. Yes, very impressive.
I think that's how I came across your name, because Denver chapter leader posted on LinkedIn, and he mentioned that the event was sponsored by you. So that's how I reached out to you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I had an interview with an online publishing company.
Yeah, and that was a great interview too. So you're at Thunderbird, and so you're looking for your first job. You're about to graduate. How did you find your first job on Wall Street?
At that time, it probably still is the same case right now. Thunderbird is very well known and very well respected name. I think every Wall Street job I got, I was in 3 jobs on Wall Street, was because of Thunderbird. And I have to give the credit more to Thunderbird than to myself. And all the interviewers or the decision makers I interviewed with recognizing the name, saying, "This is a great school. We're so happy you came from the school, and we love your credential. We'd love to work with you." So they all know Thunderbird. From the first job was a investment house, boutique investment house, and the VP in the Treasury Department, knew Thunderbird very well. And the second job was a fund management company, private equity side, and they know Thunderbird also. And I was when was working on the trading floor, the third company on the money and capital market, and they were recruiting from Thunderbird, and that's one of their recruiting. I think they were recruiting pretty heavily of Thunderbird kids. I think I was probably the second one hired by them from Thunderbird. Well, I had experience, but other kids did not have experience. But when I left, they were a handful, probably 6 of them, 7 of them from Thunderbird. So, yeah, very, very well known.
Excellent. So what are your biggest lessons from working on Wall Street?
Biggest lessons, I would say, business mentality, and I learned a lot, and quantitative thinking. I think that really trained me a lot in quantitative thinking. You have to think in numbers. You have to think fast. That helped. In that respect, Wall Street trained me probably more so. Probably, I would say trained me more so. Probably reinforced a lot of what I learned from Thunderbird.
Right. And then you went to American Express.
Yes, I left that and I came to Denver. I left when I was working in London. I was just tired of the trading world. It was highly stressful. I found that after a while, it was very exciting initially. It's like you do big deals and tens of millions of dollars in seconds, those kind of deals. And when market is moving and everybody's screaming and jumping up and down, 2 phones on their next to each ear, 1 phone next to each ear. This kind of excitement gets overwhelming after a while. You look at the screens, look at the numbers. That's what you make your decisions, or help your clients making decisions, and pass the information to them because we're the market makers. And after a while, but I found that very, very singular, very monotonous. It just doing the same thing, looking at the same numbers. I liked interaction with people. I like to travel, and so I quit, came to Denver, no job, and I interviewed with some investment companies, and one of them was I forgot the name of it. It's one of the top real estate, mutual fund companies in the nation. I interviewed with their trading. I just got this taste in my mouth. I go, I can't go back to that world again. Although I love Denver, that's where I wanted to come back to, but I couldn't go back to that world. So I started my own company, a trading company. Then I ran into the American Express at that time, MoneyGram Money Orders, and the VP of the international department. And he was actually teaching another reason
Another
I was
T-bird.
hired. He was teaching a course, summer course at Thunderbird, so he knows them well. And I don't remember how we connected, and he asked me if I can join him and helping him develop the Asia market. So I said, if you can let me keep the company I've started, I on the side, I'm willing to join you. He said that's fine. So I'm running my company on the side and helping them develop Asia market at the same time. I was traveling all over Asia for about 5 years and helped them
Mm-hmm.
set up a whole network in Asia. Then the company went through a number of changes, went from private, public to private, and 3, 4 changes. I just got very tired of all the corporate maneuvers, and I felt I worked very hard, contributed quite a bit, and I was hoping I could do the same. And I always wanted to work for myself. I was hoping I could do the same, and probably would be able to see more and better results. So I quit and left, and again without anything
Mm-hmm.
lined up yet and deciding what to do.
So you said something that really resonates with me, that you always wanted to run your own business. When did you get that feeling, that desire, and how did you kind of transition from that corporate job into buying a business later on?
I think I'm always a very independent thinker and sometimes contrarian thinking. I initiate a lot of things in the corporate world, many things actually. Even in the swaps, for instance, was with the swap desk, I was programming the swap calculation on my HP 12C.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And at that time, there's nobody doing computer trading, and the computer didn't exist. But I knew that was the direction it's going to head into. Okay, that was one example. For American Express, I initiated the foreign exchange profitability to them, basically, for the payment product. Because when you think about foreign exchange, for all the payments, cross-border payments, it was all, especially U.S. outbound, it's all U.S. dollar denominated. So my idea to them is, why don't we do retail and convert that into local currency as a payment form so you can enjoy the spread between retail and wholesale spread.
Mm-hmm.
And then you translate that into the local currency. So that was my idea. The company implemented that. And we're doing, billions of dollars every year. Savings from that alone, that's risk-free savings because it never existed before. You have to translate, if we
Right.
denominating in local currency, you have to translate the dollar. That's risk-free money. That's over $100 million a year. So, I'm always thinking about things that can be done for the business I was in for the company. And I was thinking outside of it, what I could have done for myself in things. So I always
Mm-hmm.
have that desire in me to create and do things on my own. Just the right opportunity I was looking for, or right reason may not be the right opportunity to leave.
That's great. And so when you left American Express, that opportunity presented itself, or you had to go through many opportunities until you found that food processing company?
Yeah, many opportunities. I looked at in all starting my own versus purchasing into a business. And I thought purchasing made a lot of sense. And so I spent more time on purchasing, talking to brokers, looking at advertisement. And this business presented to me at the time a very interesting story there. I mean, everybody who has been in his own business, no matter if you're an entrepreneur, proprietor, or investor, has war stories behind them. I'm sure everybody does. And this is probably one of my war stories, but worked out in my favor. So I saw this guy who was trying to sell his business. He was in California, and he had this food processing business in Colorado, and he could not manage it. He was doing
Mm-hmm.
poorly, and he wanted to sell it out. So I called him up. I said, I don't understand your business, but I've been always in finance, and would you let me learn and observe maybe and let me stay in your company for a month. and I'll then I'll decide if I can get involved or not. He said, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Come to the company and just go there, and you can sit in the office. I'll pay you to observe for 1 month. I said, you don't need to pay me. I just want to see. So I
Mm-hmm.
stayed there for 2 weeks. I realized how poorly run it was, what can be improved, and the market opportunity, customer opportunity, internally, what process can be set up to enjoy all those opportunity in front of it. So I made him offers. I've been saving up all my money from the corporate world when I'm working for them, but I don't have
Mm-hmm.
enough to buy the whole business. I'll buy 50% of it, and but the deal is I'll buy the other 50. Give me the option on my part to buy the other 50 at double the price I'm paying on the first 50 within 1 year. Of course, he loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody helped him manage the business, and he has a chance to sell the second half for double the price.
Yeah.
So accepted the offer. So within a year, I grew the business from, I don't remember, at 6 million or 9 million to about $29 million
Mm-hmm.
sales. And he
Wow.
didn't want to sell anymore. I said, sorry, we have a contract, have agreement. And I'm exercising my option. I'll buy you
Mm-hmm.
double the price, but for the other 50%. So I bought the other 50. And come think back about it. What did I do right? For a short period of time, I grew it. So, so,
Yeah,
uh,
I'm actually very, very curious. So first of all, what kind of food processing business was
we're
it?
processing meats. We're processing poultry.
Poultry.
So we don't slaughter. We buy the cleaned and slaughtered from
Mm-hmm.
the growing states, East Coast or South, Mississippi, Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
those southern states. Then we further process them. We sell them to the wholesale food distributors in the West, Cisco, Shamrock, U.S. Foods, and other
The
smaller distributors. Yeah.
largest distributors. And so what levers did you have to pull to increase that revenue so that
Well, I think a lot
dramatically
of things I implement.
in a year?
Yeah, I implemented a lot of things internally to make the process flowing smoother, because we're dealing with the fresh product and they get spoiled, and that's very expensive. And we were handling about 10, 40-foot truck loads of fresh products every week.
Mm-hmm.
And so digesting that, managing that's a big headache. So from transportation, coming in, coming out, from inventory management, for processing, quality control. So I think what stands out was probably especially quality. I made the quality very standard. So everybody buys things they can expect today versus next month or past a month. It's still the same quality. That's number one. Number two, I made the price transparent. So I went around the suppliers and locked in prices with them for a season or for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And normally that's below the market price, very favorable price, because you're buying large quantity at extended period of time. So
Right.
then I come back and I set a price below there's a market price actually every day published by I forgot the name of the index. So I fix the price, selling price according to the index. We
Mm-hmm.
are probably 2 points behind the index. So anybody who wants to buy product from us, before they pick up the phone, they know what the price is at. So they love it. Everybody loved it. They have known quality. They know where our price is at. And they know all they need to know is availability. Do we have it, or when
Mm-hmm.
we'll have it? So that's probably the only question they will have. So those things help a lot with stabilizing our supply and stabilizing our demand side, both sides. So that helped to grow the business a lot. Plus the internal process management, quality control, and
Mm-hmm.
all those help grow our business.
Got it. And why did you decide to sell that business eventually?
Well, I see opportunities elsewhere, and I also see the industry is going some fundamental changes. A lot of the big suppliers, growers are looking at us and or companies similar to us, realizing their opportunities in what we're doing. So they're starting
Mm-hmm.
to taking back the business or selling us less of the products we're making. I saw the trend coming. I figured realizing a lot, but probably to smarter degree later on realized, not to the extent I anticipated. So I decided to sell up and pursue other things.
So if you had to teach a class how to buy and run a business you know nothing about, what would be the first three slides about it?
Boy,
You didn't have any background in food processing. You didn't have any background in that type of a business, right? Operational logisticals. You have fresh produce. What do you think help you to navigate it and make it successful?
I think probably I would say you got to work very hard. I was sleeping about 4 or 5 hours a day for about a year when I first started because there was a new business I was not in. So once I get everything on track, I was a lot more relaxed. But you got to work hard to start with. Number two, number two is you got to have common sense, especially you're starting a business and you have to tread into areas you are not familiar with. Otherwise, you're not starting. So, and even if it's in your space, a lot of people start business within what they are familiar with. They left the company, start something, but there'll always be surprises. So a lot of common sense, a lot of thinking, talking to people, discussing, correct judgment. Good judgment is very extremely important. Unbiased judgment. So those are basic ingredients, I would say.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing. And so now let's dive into your foray into clean energy business and your current company, your current startup, Aku Energy. And can we talk about this?
Sure. Yeah. So after I sold my food business, I split my money in two, in half. 50 went into real estate investment, and the other 50 went into clean energy. And I thought clean energy at the time was just emerging, and I thought because the environmental concerns for the energy, fossil basically has been the main energy source for the whole world, but fossil because of the nature of it, you extract and it's finite resource, and the end result, the extended result beyond the immediate benefit of providing energy is heavy pollution. So you look at the energy source, one is the finite nature of it and the damage to the atmosphere. So I thought that would be a business we would be sticking with and start in
Mm-hmm.
a big way for a long time. So I decided to get into that business. It turned out to be true, but what surprised me more is I thought it should be a global effort, non-cross-border and non-political. It started that way, actually, all those Paris Agreement and prior to Paris Agreement, all that. It's very non-political, non-geopolitical either. But now it's become the extreme of political and geopolitical ploys or plays that
Mm-hmm.
nations are dealing with, and which is very uncomfortable from my standpoint. So I got into that business. The first company I invested in, I was probably the largest non-institutional investor in the company, was a solar module manufacturing facility in Toledo, Ohio. They did end too well as a product because the conversion efficiency was very low. But the play was because of silicon supply was extremely short at the time, so price was very high. And amorphous silicon uses a fraction of it, less than 1%. And the processes, throughput, manufacturing high throughput, generate products very quickly. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully that makes up the lower efficiency. But it did not, because wafer, actually silicon manufacturing, China got into it. Anything China got into, everything comes down, price comes down.
Yeah.
Good and bad for the matter of it, because bad because it kills a lot of competition. Good, it that's where we need to head to, right? We need to have low price and mass production in order to popularize whatever we're pursuing, especially when it comes to clean and climate related technologies. So good and bad. But anyway, so China got into silicon manufacturing, the price dropped dramatically from $120 to like $40 or something. So our product pretty much become irrelevant. But the process high throughput, roll-to-roll manufacturing, plasma-enhanced chemical vapor deposition process. That is very valid and still being used in a big way in
Mm-hmm.
the deposition manufacturing process.
Yeah.
So that's why I
Right.
got into, and eventually I got into, I bought into a company in energy efficient modular home manufacturing company in Nebraska. And I invested and helped scaling a hydrogen company in Boulder, Colorado. And we sold that company to another German firm, Butler, which is about $6 billion firm. And we were
Mm-hmm.
$15 million firm, but we had the technology and the need, and they were trying to get into the hydrogen business. That was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And so now you're partnering with German firm on your new venture on Akku energy.
Yeah, it's by coincidence. I'm pretty familiar with about all the clean energy product or assets, but this one came by sort of by accident. They were traveling around the U.S. trying to find a location to set up their U.S. operations, and they came to Colorado, and I was invited by the State Office of Economic Development and International Trade to advise them how to land in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So I met with them and we hit it off very well. We continued to communicate after we went back to Germany. Eventually, they proposed we start a company together in the U.S. to manufacture and sell products. Well, to sell products in the U.S. And I'd advised them to set up a manufacturer instead of just sell pure selling product. I thought that's the direction the country was heading to. That was about 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to go into manufacturing of the batteries in the U.S. and sell them in the U.S. as well.
Okay. And how's it going so far?
Well, we're in the fundraising stage. I would say probably in the later stage of fundraising, although it's a
Mm-hmm.
very difficult stage because of the general investment environment, particularly relating to clean energy. Yeah, but we have secured a site in North Carolina, and we secured uh, a number of policy incentives, financial incentives from the state and local government as well. And we have some private investment, but we're still trying to secure the last tranche, about $5 million, and then we'll be ready to
Mm-hmm.
go. So, yeah, very interesting market. U.S. is going through a lot of changes, especially in battery storage, clean energy sector. As we all know, the current administration has canceled a lot of policies that the previous institution has instituted. There's a dramatic change when it comes to tax policies, industrial policies, trade policies in relation to the clean energy, clean tech area.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, very difficult, I would say, but I think it's stabilizing quite a bit because a lot of the realities even current administration has to deal with is something that has more of a ready solution when it comes to clean energy or renewable energy than traditional fossil-based energy. So I think they're
Interesting.
coming to a recognition that there's no single bullet when it comes to solving the energy needs, energy security issue. I think they're starting to realize you have to deploy many technologies and many material products to solve the problem.
Right. Right. Yeah.
One very
Well.
good, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So a good example, for instance, energy resilience, or energy supply is a big issue in this country. With all the data centers building, that's calling for like 20-40% of the current energy available within the next 10-20 years. So the demand side for energy usage, not to talk about, we have more manufacturing in the US now. That's the trend. We have more population right now. We have more gadgets right now. And
Right.
all the electrification of equipment, of tools, we need a lot more energy. And how to solve that, very simple example, probably more illustrative as well. To build a power plant using traditional energy source, no matter it's fossil-based gas, coal, or nuclear. It takes about 5 to 10 years to build one. It takes 5 years to build. The equipment backlog right now is about 5 to 7 years. So if you start building a plant today, you're not
Mm-hmm.
going to see a drop of energy close to a decade. So how do you meet the supply that we'll need in this decade? So renewable will solve the problem. So you have to deploy solar, wind, and batteries, especially batteries, because battery will realize the full value of renewable energy sources.
Right.
Because renewable, by nature of it, relies on nature. You don't have wind, you don't have electricity. You don't have sun, you don't have electricity. And at least half of the time, we don't have that, right?
Yeah.
So probably more than half, more than 75% we don't have it. You factoring in the season, the weather of daily change. And then the battery will store the time, the energy when renewable is producing, but there is no consumption like at nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one. And battery can also shave off the peaks. Peak needs, when you think about peak, the US invests about 20% of all the energy investments of the grid level, power supply, electricity investment on peak supply, which is peak is when everybody's home cooking, watching TV,
Right.
doing dishes, doing laundry. So those are the peak. And 20% is invested on peak, but the utilization of the peak investment infrastructure is only 3%. So think about the waste. It's huge. And so battery can soften that. You can, because energy generation, you cannot, if you don't use it, you produce it, you're wasted. It's wasted. You
Yeah.
cannot store, you cannot harvest it again. So battery can store that energy when you are not using it. A power plant is still running. And power plant, by the way, they cannot shut down. A coal power plant or gas power plant. You shut it down today, it takes weeks, if not months, to restart. So they have to keep producing the energy. So, but when we're all sleeping, we're not using energy. What do? We waste them. We waste them. That's why
Yeah. You need
peak.
to store it. Yep.
So they need to store it. So with that storage, you solve the peak, you solve the waste issue, many benefits. You don't have to build a new plant anymore. So I think the administration will quickly realize that maybe they don't like to do away with where they're thinking of traditional fossil source, but the voter will force them to, because we look at our energy bills keeps going up,
Mm-hmm.
right? Shortage, blackouts, all those has to do with our current
Right.
system.
Right.
Voter will say, wait a minute, food price is going up, our energy price is going up. You know what? We need somebody to have better policies in Washington. And then they will realize, okay, we got to listen to what people are telling us. We need to solve the energy problem. We can't afford to have energy bill keeps going up like this for the consumers.
Yeah. With all the needs with AI and the new technology, it requires so much energy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So let me switch the gears a little bit. So I'm running an investment business and I'm in fundraising mode all the time. So I'm curious to learn from you. What's your approach in fundraising for your current company?
I would say I think depending on product, depending on companies you're trying to launch, probably that would determine a lot of approaches, uh, how you want to go about raising money. And, is that going to be a broker organized, or is that friends and family, and also the stage of a company you're at as well, because of the amount, the stage, the risk level. So that will determine a lot of approach how you want to take. Is it a broker? Was it friends and family, or is it or direct to venture capital or private equity, or to the open market fundraise? Is it going to be debt, or is it going to be equity, or is it going to be a mixture of them? So there are a lot of things you need to think through. Really has to do with the product, with the stage of a company, and the amount of money you're raising. So that there's no fixed formula. I would think.
Got it. Got it. Awesome. So what drives you today? What motivates you? You get up in the morning right now.
Coffee. First thing, coffee. No, just kidding.
That's that's
I think many things to do every day. The thought about getting things done, big or small, and that really motivates.
that's great. So if you could go back and give a 20-year-old self an advice, given what you know today, having all the experiences you lived through, what would you tell yourself?
Wow, I think if it's somebody who, no matter what, success is not just, about you accomplish something, you build something, or you have money, or, success is measured by many things, many measures, depending on what you're going after. But I think anybody wants to get somewhere, being successful in the chosen direction or field, a person has to be very diligent, very driven, very focused. You have to fight hard. But in the same time, I think a person needs to, within, all those struggles and fight, to keep a center, to have a heart, have integrity in what you do. I think that goes a long way in the long run than immediate return.
Yeah,
So
thank
that's
you.
what I would give to a 20-year-old, not knowing what he's going after.
Awesome. Do you have a message to our broader Thunderbird community?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think I can learn equally as much from the Thunderbird group, and it's a very, very intelligent, well-traveled, well-rounded, and very successful group of people. I'm sure I can learn equally. But for the ones that are interested in starting their own businesses and looking for a path in business success, I would say Thunderbird education is pretty broad. Probably it has to do with not just Thunderbird, many educationals. Probably more has to do with in this case, because Thunderbird is very focused on international aspects of education from cultural standpoint, for business practice, international, and all of that. All those are good, very necessary. However, I think a focus in a field will benefit, go a long way. No matter that is you choose, I think, one specialty in that, supported with experience, international experience, international vision, international culture, that will help a lot. So that specialty focus of concentration of knowledge gaining with a purpose, I think that's important.
And finally, what does listen, learn, decide, persist look like in your personal and professional life? I read that quote in one of your interviews.
Listening is extremely important. I don't think I was a good listener before. I tended to vocalize what I was thinking, what I had in mind, what my idea was, that when I was young, when I didn't have enough experience. But I think I learned, that's one of the lessons I learned very well in Wall Street. I think one of the very valuable is listen, especially on the trading floor. If you don't listen, you get one. We were working with 4 decimal points. You miss one number, that's a big chunk of money mistake. So you cannot afford that. You have to listen very carefully, very precisely. And before you speak, you have to hear it first. And I think I learned that skill and transferred that into pretty much my business and my personal life throughout. I listen a lot. I listen more than I speak. I prefer to listen more than I speak because you learn a lot. You listen. You learn about different viewpoint. You learn about things you don't know. So you'll be better balanced and better decision maker, better judge of situations as being a good listener. That's number one. Persistence. As an entrepreneur, if you're not persistent, there are always difficulties and surprises. And if you don't have the quality to stick to your course, you can get deviated from what you're set out to do, and either can't find where your north is, what you're going after, or or you do a lot of detours. So persistence is extremely important. It's easy said than done because it's a fine balance as well. Because one can be stubborn and persistent, pursuing the wrong direction. That gets you further away from where you're achieving, you're trying to go to.
Right.
So you need to balance out for being persistent and also when to say, I need to make a change. So this I don't think you can do one without the other. You have to balance each other.
Thank you. And my last question, what's your next dream travel destination?
Oh yeah, many. I love beaches.
What's at the top of your list?
I love to go to Africa. I've never been to one continent I've never been to, and I'd love to go to Africa to see what Africa is like in daily life, and also the safari, of course. So those are the two draws for me. I want to see part of the world is very different from, the rest of the continents, pretty much because of its unique nature, its property, and its systems, its culture, and all that. And also safari, the nature of it. Those are the draws for me for Africa. That's my long-term dream, and when I get more time and
Excellent.
I'll have to pursue that.
Excellent. Bo, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your lessons, your wisdom. It was a great conversation. Safe travels, and I wish you continued success with Aqua Energy.
Thank you, Alex. It's been a pleasure. It's an honor to be on your show. Have a good day.